Good morning, it's 8 o'clock and this is the BBC's Breakfast Time programme. It's now more than 12 hours since Britain's worst air disaster, a disaster in which a Pan Am jumbo jet crashed onto a town in Scotland. It's now known that 258 people died on the plane, at least 15 more on the ground. This was the scene at Lockerbie in Dumfriesshire last night, burning wreckage from the Pan Am airliner on the ground at Lockerbie in Dumfriesshire. The rescue workers there searching for bodies, and also the ruins of cars and houses destroyed where the jumbo jet fell. Some 7 houses, our latest information, having been destroyed in the town of Lockerbie. And this is Lockerbie this morning, where the hunt, regrettably, is now for bodies. It's no longer for survivors. Our colleague Kirsty Walk is there.
I'm standing here in the heart of the town in this sombre and dismal morning. As the light grows, the bodies which have been located will be brought here to the town hall, which has been turned into a makeshift mortuary. Throughout the morning, the search will continue for other bodies from the plane, and also a number of casualties, a number of local people. We can't yet ascertain the number, but some who are missing. In breakfast time, in the next half hour, I'll be talking to local people about how the community is coping with this terrible devastation. But now, back to the studio. Next hour, we in the studio will be asking aviation experts what might have caused the disaster. There's talk of an explosion before the crash. We'll have reports from Heathrow Airport, where relatives and friends are still waiting for news, and from the United States, where the ill-fated Pan Am Jumbo should have landed in the early hours of this morning.
There was no mayday, there was no warning. At 7:19, the jumbo jet disappeared from the radar screens and crashed onto a hillside and onto the edge of the small Scottish town of Lockerbie. People who saw the jumbo jet come down spoke of a fireball, of liquid fire falling onto Lockerbie and onto the A74, onto houses and onto cars. The remains of a jumbo jet that had been flying at 31,000 feet one moment, that had hurtled to the ground the next. A Pan Am jumbo jet with 258 passengers and crew, men, women and children, had crashed 54 minutes from Heathrow Airport on its flight to New York. The Queen is said to be shocked and appalled by the tragedy. The Prime Minister's spokesman said she too was shocked by the terrible disaster. This morning there are several theories as to what caused it, but they are only theories. There's talk of an explosion. That could mean sabotage. It could have been structural failure. There'll be a statement in the Commons this morning. Pan Am Flight 103 originated in Frankfurt, West Germany, yesterday afternoon. Many American servicemen and their families were on board, going home for Christmas. They joined the jumbo that was to crash at Heathrow. They were 25 minutes late taking off. Less than an hour later, they were all dead. Here now is our first report on this Britain's worst air disaster.
This was the nightmare come true. The jumbo passenger jet that plunged out of the night sky into a small but densely packed community straddling the main road into Scotland. The Pan Am 747, en route from Heathrow to Kennedy Airport, had just curved out over the Scottish lowlands to fly over the North Atlantic. For no evident reason, and without any mayday warning, the 747 careered into the town of Lockerbie, 10 miles north of the Scottish border. 10, possibly a dozen houses were simply wiped out, many with their occupants inside. At least 3 large craters were formed by chunks of the aircraft spinning out over an area estimated at nearly 20 miles wide. Cars, either travelling through Lockerbie or parked by the roadside, were completely burnt out. All the passengers and crew died. Bodies were strewn over fields and streets. Some witnesses spoke of hearing a sound like a rumble of thunder. Then, seeing the blazing aircraft descending rapidly onto a hillside outside the town.
I heard this noise coming. I thought there's someone else coming. So I shouted to my daughter and the wife, like, they came to the door. And this almighty bang, and this thing come crashing down, like, blew the daughter clean off her feet, flung her in there. And the missus, she run inside, like. And, well, when I seen this, I made to go in and all the debris was, well, as you can see, it's all up here, like.
It was just a total daze. There was a guy over there got out of that car, that's the burnt out car. Part of the plane, I would guess, hit him. He jumped out of the car, and he hadn't got very far from the car when it exploded. When it was flames, he was very lucky to get out.
It was like liquid fire started to rain down on the car, and bits of concrete and debris, and we even found a piece of the aluminium bedded in the car.